Good morning, my good people from Edo State home and in the diaspora. I pray this message meet you guys in good health. My name is Mr. Opuleta. So still on the fight of stopping what is currently going on in Edo State right now, being carried out by the Edo State governor and government, where fathers now suffer for the sins of their children, or sisters now suffer for the sins of their brothers. Still on that fight, I want to read to us the very anti-cultism law in which the state government they are implementing to carry out all the menace we have been seeing in the state. Because I know that 97 or 95% of Edo citizens have never really read this law, and many are going about by me saying they have not really read it themselves to understand it. So I want to take my time to read this law, try to interpret this law, and at the same time, try to state an example, and at the same time, provide solution. So please, I want you guys to listen to the end, and please help me to share this message so that we can all together stop this menace, because I have talked about this. This is not right at all. Thank you. So as you can see on the screen, it says Edo State enact tougher anti-cultism law, which means new legislation introduce death sentence, imprisonment, property confiscation, raising significant law implication. So let's go first to the very first one. It said the key provisions and legal implications. First, death sentence for cultists involved in fighter attack. Death sentence for cultists involved in fighter attack. Fighter attack can include dying, can include when you injure somebody. It can include fighter attack. So let's read. It says section 12 of the law prescribe a death sentence for any cultist whose action results in the death of another person. Also, if a cultist assault, injured, or destroy property in furtherance of court activity, they face 21 years imprisonment without any option of a fine. Additionally, the government will confiscate and demolish the convicted person's property. Take note of that. In addition, the government will confiscate and demolish the convicted person's property, not the property belonging to the brother of the convicted, or sister of the convicted, or father of the convicted, but the convicted person's property will be confiscated and demolished, not the property of the landlord who gave the tenant, who is the convict. Property will be demolished, but that of the person convicted. Legal implication. This provision aligns with Nigeria Criminal and Penal Code, which prescribe capital punishment for offenses involving murder. However, its enforcement could be challenged based on the Constitution right to life under section 33 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which limits the death penalty to cases where due legal processes are strictly followed. Please take note, where due processes are strictly followed. In other words, that particular case must be thoroughly investigated, and after the thorough investigation, the person also, the process, you must follow the strict process of the law to give judgment concerning that matter, because the person who you convict also have a right to life. So the person must be given chance in the court to also prove his or her innocent. So which means you do not just catch the person and take loss. No, the person has right to life. So that is for that. So we go again to the second. The second says 21 years jail term for sponsors of cultism. 21 years jail term for sponsors of cultism. Section 5 provides for a 21 years imprisonment sentence for individuals who provide financial or material support to secret cult. In other words, if you are supporting cultism by way of finance or giving them materials or supporting them in any ways, you risk 21 years jail term. Legal implication of that. This provision strengthens the state ability to persecute not just cult members, but also enablers and financiers, making it easier to track or dismantle organized cult network. In other words, if also you are that kind of person that abhor them, or you are that kind of person that cover them up for them not to be arrested by law, you enable them in any way, you support them financially in any way. So this particular judgment is against that person. This particular law is against that person. So this is where we need to discuss now. The third, 10 years jail term. The third, 10 years jail term for Ambori cultist. 10 years jail term for Ambori cultist. So the first, section 6 says, stipulate a 10 years prison sentence for individuals. 1. Knowingly provide shelter to cultists. Knowingly provide shelters to cultists. 2. Allow cult meetings or activities to take place on their premises. 3rd, the government will also confiscate and demolish such property. So now let's discuss, let's take a breakdown and discuss. In Edo State, for example, you cannot go through Edo State. Before you pass through 10 houses in Edo State, I can tell you that 9 houses from those 10, they have people in abroad. They have people abroad. So also this court matter in Edo State, before you pass 10 houses in Edo State, I can tell you that 9, they have members of their family who are in one way or the other cultists. Yeah, that is how serious it is. I can tell you, unless maybe people want to lie to themselves. It's either they have a brother, a uncle, a son, a daughter who are members of cultists in Edo State. So now, look at it. What this law is saying, for example, if you as a father, unknowing to you, or you even know that your son, with the way he's behaving, he is a member now of a cult, it means this law is against you. It says that you are harboring your son who is a cultist. Yes, it means you are harboring your son who is a cultist, or you are harboring your brother or your sister who is a cultist. It means this law is against you, and you cannot go through Edo State unless people want to lie. People say they do not have cult members as a family member. It can be a son, a daughter, a uncle, a brother, a relative. It full everywhere. Even government house, they cannot say 100% that they does not have people who are working in government house who are not members of cultists. No organization can boast that they does not have members in the organization who are cultists. So which means the roof where a member of a cultist is living in Edo State, anybody who have that roof, who have that property, is harboring cultists. That is what this law is saying. So if your son is a cultist, it means you are harboring a cultist. Even if you have not committed any crime, but you are harboring him. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to go and report to police that your son is a cultist? Or are you supposed to report that your manager is a cultist? Okay, we are going somewhere. We are going somewhere. So legal implication. It said this provision introduced vicarious liability, holding properties owner accountable for indirect involvement in cultism. However, enforcement could raise human rights concerns, particularly regarding the demolition of property. Affected person may challenge the law under Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution, which protects against arbitrary deprivation of property. So what are we talking about here? So now, take a breakdown again. Do you think that many people who are members of one cult group or the other, do you think many of them are not regretting their actions after they join? Do you think many are not regretting their actions after they join the cult group? I can tell you 100% that even out of the 97% of people who are living in the diaspora, 40 left Nigeria or Edo State abroad because of one court case or the other, cultism case or the other. Why? Because maybe they told their group that they want to leave the group. They cannot allow them to go just like that. So in order for many to escape cultism, many flee to Europe. Yeah, except you want to lie. You that is watching me right now, your brother, your sister that is in Europe right now, what made many of them to run? It is because they pronounce that they want to leave the cult that they are in, because they are not seeing any form of benefit in it. And because they could not let them live like that, that is why many of them, they ran. I have people like that, friends like that who ran, because it is not easy for them to leave that cult, because many of them gullibly enter. The moment they enter, they saw that, hey, there's no way here, there's no benefit here. But coming out becomes a problem. Or do you think, since the government has enacted this law, do you think many people who are seeing what is happening, are they not having a rethink that, hey, if they can't catch me tomorrow, they can't destroy my father's house or my sister's house? Do you think many also do not want to leave? I can tell you for sure that many wants to leave. But how can they leave just like that? Becomes a problem. Leaving becomes a problem. Entry is not a problem. When you know about cultism matter, entry is not a problem. But what is a problem is leaving. It's leaving. So this is my suggestion. This is my solution. Instead of government going about destroying property, destroying properties of the innocent, destroying properties of the innocent for the sins of another, why not find a way to see how people can live cultism seamlessly? Why not find a way, like I had, that even before the governorship election, you people called all the head of the group of the court, which shows that many of you allegedly, you know these people. So why not call the same kind of meeting and relate and have a diplomatic discussion? I can tell you, many Edo youth are regretting their actions of joining one of the group or the other. And many want to leave. But leaving becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. So the government should help young destinies, young lives, to see how they can leave this cult group seamlessly without having problem. I can also tell you that many people who have left Edo State and flee to Europe because of cultism problem, they are finding it difficult to return back to Edo State. Why? Because the moment you fly, you leave the state, you come back, that problem still remains there. They will still look for you because you become a member of that group for life. You become a member of that group for life. So government find a way to make it seamless that people can leave the group easily, not causing another damage, using crime to want to correct crime. Because the demolition of a property belonging to a sister or a father because of the son or a brother is related to a courtesan matter is crime in itself. And you want to use that crime to correct another crime. It is crime in itself. So the government should have a rethink. Maybe as a father, I sent my son to school to go and study. And unknowing to me, he joined one of the court group in school. And he came back home. And he wants to stay for a week or 2 weeks or a month in my house. What you are telling me is that I'm harboring a cultist. And because my son came and I cannot tell my son to go back to school, or I cannot drive my son away because I know he's a member. Because I know he's a member. So it means I'm harboring a cultist. A situation where young guys sit down to just drink and relax without committing any crime. Just like we have overzealous police people in Edo State currently now, and they raid them and pick those people. And they impute in them that they are cultists. So it means that the house where they find these people should be brought down. It means that the people that are being caught, as many members of family they are related to, their house should be brought down because they are staying there, because they are harboring them. So you can see this. You can see this. In government house, I can bet you 100% there are cultists. Many of the people who the governor has given government office, they are cultists. They are. And they cannot lie. 95.5 houses in Edo State, they have brothers or sister, uncle as cultists living in that house. So which means every house in Edo State will go down before the end of 2025, if God permits that he will win in the appeal court. It means every house will go down because they will continue to catch cultists. They will continue to catch them, and I want them to catch them. So it means every house will go down. So which means for those that are supporting what the governor is doing, they should wait for it because it's going to happen to them. So this is also for a court member that you have maybe be able to catch. Let them face the wrath of the Lord themselves. Except when you investigate the matter and you see that the person whose house is living is also an accomplice. Not by the person is staying in his house, but in a way that the person is supporting him 100%. That is when I can reason it and say, okay, that person should be involved in this. Not a father who gave birth to a son because the son has joined a court or stuff like that. You just come and destroy his house. It's not enough reason now. It's not enough reason. So governor, think. Governor, think. If not, you will turn Edo State to desert. There will be no house. I can tell you 100%. I don't want to call names. So even around your government, sir. Around your government, the people who are shouting your praise around your government, they know the matter. They know, except maybe they won't lie. They know the matter. They know what they talk. Say, Cultists case for Edo State, it be like where you say for Edo State, no house will not get person for abroad. Now so it be. No house will not get cultists. No house for Edo State will not get. So be ready to destroy more houses and turn Edo State that is given to you to develop and turn it to desert overnight. And nobody is talking. Our traditional leaders, they are not talking. Parents are not coming out to talk. Landlords are not coming out to talk. Hotel owners, property owners are not coming out to talk. And some of the case that you have handled, there is no proper investigation, sir. No proper investigation. You just catch person today, the next day you go destroy house. A case, can you properly investigate a case for just 24 hours? Or for just few hours, you just properly investigate a case? It is time for all Edolites to speak against this evil. It is time for all Edolites to do a minute video and speak against this wickedness, because what I call it is heart of wickedness. And I can also drop this, that those houses, sometimes in Edo State, there are so many fathers and mothers that are surviving by what tenants are paying. That is how they survive. And rent money until they survive. So people don't want to build house, give papa, give mama, just to they collect rent to survive. Except you want to lie to yourself. Do video and condemn this act. There is a proper way to fight crime. You don't need crime to fight crime. Thank you.